Hello, hello, and good morning. I just finished my run, and if any of you are tracking the day by day on this, you'll know that the last 2 days were lame runs. And I did some thinking about what was causing that, and I changed both my inner game and my outer game. And I want to talk about both of those because they're so important. And it's just like in business. There's an inner game, the personal development, the mindset, what choices you're making in here, how you're feeling in your heart, right? This is all inner game. And then there's outer game, tactics, strategy, action, things you got to do, right? And you need both if you're going to make it in business. And you also need both if you want to have an extraordinary life, right? This is part of what's required to really have the level of success in life and business that you want. You can't have, if you just do the outer game, you'll be limited. You'll be capped at what you can accomplish. If you just do the inner game and you don't take the action, you'll never make it to the next level either. You'll just be full of great ideas and a great attitude. Okay, I'm gonna try and hold this with my other hand now. So here's what I changed with my inner game, okay? Actually, let's start with outer game first. I realized that I was tired, so I got good sleep. I realized that I was probably dehydrated. So I drank a ton of water yesterday. Thanks for the inspiration from the folks in the group. That was really helpful. And what else did I do, outer game wise? I got up early and I did it before it got too hot. Okay, so inner game though. I realized, okay, I clicked the wrong button on my no average, thank you, exactly. Okay, so when I did some thinking about why I was laming out on myself, what was going on in my brain, and actually who I wanted to be, and what this was keeping me from being. And the thing that popped, it wasn't like a real deep conversation with myself or anything, it just popped, this is how I get most of my insights, that I wanted to be great, and that this was not great. Okay, right? My mission, my stance is like we get to have extraordinary lives, and I wasn't living extraordinary on those runs, and this was keeping me at my set point, not in this aspect of my life, and not allowing me to go further. So I have this greatness idea in my head. So on the run today, and by the way, I ran 20 minutes today. It did not lame out at all. I got the full run in, full 20 minutes, slow and steady, but I got it done. And what I said to myself was two things. This is temporary. When it started getting hard and my muscles were tired and I wanted to stop and take a walk break, I was like, this is temporary. And I'll speak to that in a second, why I use that. And the second thing was, this is greatness. So let me speak to that first so I close the loop on the greatness concept. I wasn't feeling particularly great doing this, okay? Like, I couldn't say to myself, I am great. I hadn't yet reached the level in my mind of this running, this is great. And if I had said to myself, like a little affirmation, I am great, I would have not believed it. So what I did was I found something that made sense. I found something that I could own. This is greatness. This getting out and doing the run and not stopping is greatness. This commitment to myself is greatness. These things I could get behind. And they got me closer to where I wanted to go and put my mind in the right place. So use that for yourself. If you can't own yet what you know that you want, right? Like you can't say, hey, I'm a millionaire when you're not a millionaire, okay? You can say, this is millionaire action, right? Something like that, okay? So there are other ways to work with that, but that's a little workaround that I hope you apply. If you have questions on that, post below and let me know what you want and how you might be having trouble with changing that to a thought that really works for you. Okay, now the second thing was, this is temporary. Okay, now that's a huge one for me because oftentimes, when you're in the midst of something hard, whether it's an emotional pain, you wake up in a bad mood, you feel resentment, something sad happens, something hard happens, you lose the sale in business, or you're not making your number, or no one's answering your phone calls, or you can't figure out how to engage your audience, or what's another thing? Your team all quits, right? Like, things happen that are hard. Okay, there are challenges in life and business, and when we're in those states of hard, emotional hard, and outer game hard, we have a tendency to think globally, like, this is going to last forever, right? This is going to be an ongoing thing in my life, and nothing's ever going to change. I might as well quit. I'm going to wallow in the self-pity. Now, this is not to say don't have a moment of full expression with your feelings, okay? Do that. It's important. But also know this is temporary, okay? Because your mind wants to think this is going to be forever and we might as well quit. So don't do that, right? That's not helpful. Instead, say to yourself, which is what I did on my run this morning, this is temporary. This muscle exhaustion is temporary. This feeling like it's too hard is temporary, okay? And I said those two things over and over again, back to back, by the way. This is temporary, this is greatness. And notice how those two things work together. This is temporary is like the pain, but this is greatness, moving through it, staying with it, committing, perseverance, determination. Commitment, right? Let's say it again because it's a commitment challenge. Okay, so if you really want to take this and run with it, 2 actions, okay? Post below in the comments, 2 things for you to post on. How can you use this concept for what you're doing in the commitment challenge, okay? And if it's in your life, if your commitment is a life goal rather than a business goal, do it for that. What is it that you are going to say to yourself internally that speaks to where you want to go? And then are you going to use the word, this is temporary, whenever you find like it's hard. But the second thing that I wanted you to do is I really want, because most of you are in business for yourself as well, and if you're not doing the commitment challenge for something in business, I want you to just take a moment and think about how you could apply this to the last thing that you thought was really hard in your business, okay? What could you have said to yourself, or what will you say to yourself, okay, around where you want to go? And you can use mine if you want. If they resonate with you, go for that. This is greatness and this is temporary. But choose now what you're going to say to yourself when the going gets hard, because it always does. Okay, with that, rock it out. Have an awesome day. I'm Amira Alvarez, founder and CEO of The Unstoppable Woman, and I am rooting for you. Be unstoppable, keep your commitments, take it to the next level. Have an awesome day. Bye.